You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Make yourself famous. A podcast covering all things WWE.
I have now returned to save the WWE.
NXT.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
And AEW.
Holy wrestling. I couldn't be more happy.
Here are your hosts, Kyle Gagliardi and Jim Tucker.
What is going on, everyone? You are listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Kyle Gagliardi. And as always, I am joined by my good friend, Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Yucky!
What's going on?
Been a couple weeks for us, Tucky.
Yeah, it has.
You know, life and stuff gets in the way.
Yeah, they say that.
They do.
Yeah, like, it's life.
Yeah, life. Look it up in the dictionary. That's what it says.
Yeah, it happens.
Well, we had Valentine's Day weekend last week, and you do anything special with the wife?
Yeah, I treated my wife. I shoved my wife in a van with 9 other people.
I've seen that video somewhere.
Yeah, it was rowdy. We went up to Chicago to the Aragon Ballroom. Saw Two Friends, which is popular among our wiffle group.
It's like an EDM mashup kind of thing.
Yeah, big booty mixes are popular. So
they are.
It was fun. I left with more other people's sweat on me than I think my own.
Was it like one of those where like you were literally arm to arm with people?
Yeah, and my position was back to the stage. Didn't even watch.
Really?
Back to the stage, protecting Greg. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
And Mista from like getting mollywopped. They weren't moshing, but
were you close?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Yeah. 15, 20 feet back, right in the middle.
That can get dangerous with the speakers right by you. I've been there before, man.
So it was a lot of fun. And then just kind of had a chill weekend, Takeover on Sunday, had Monday off. So I had a 5-day break.
Oh, yeah, because of President's Day?
Yeah, Thursday was canceled. School Thursday was canceled.
Snow.
Friday off to make it a long break. That was a snow makeup day, but we didn't have to use it then. So 5 days in a row. Feeling refreshed this weekend at school, or this week at school. Life is good.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous of you right there. I could use a vacation. I don't have a vacation until March, and then I go to Vegas for March Madness. So
yeah, there we go.
Looking forward to that. But my Valentine's Day, I'm more of a chill kind of guy.
Yeah.
When, me and the lady friend, she came by, and, we cooked ourselves a nice little meal over here. We had a good time. We just drank some wine and hung out. I mean,
yeah, it's becoming one of those things where couples just want to go out and flex on people, and just go go to this dinner,
make a reservation.
Bro, we like each other. We don't have to spend $100 to tell other people that we like each other.
You know what? This is why you're my co-host. You get me.
We have a good little thing going here.
We do.
And
it's a better thing than what Otis had to deal with on Valentine's Day.
God damn.
How do you feel about that? Now, we know you are more than me, but we're a heavy machinery podcast.
Yeah,
how do you feel about Otis getting cucked?
Man, what a guy. What a poor guy, actually.
Right?
I can't believe that happened. We'll have to wait and see the come up, and hopefully they're able to mend. But he went on Corey Graves' podcast and was hyped.
His very first, by the way, too.
Yeah, he sounds like a completely normal human.
Sounds like a guy from Wisconsin to me, from what he was talking about.
State connoisseur, my guy.
Yep.
Tucky did a great job preparing him. I thought he was ready.
Is that what you would do for me?
Yeah, but you don't
the
need
Tucky
it.
to my Otis.
The thing that's nice is you don't need it. I trust you.
You're a sweetheart.
I will let you, as a bird, I will let you spread your wings.
I appreciate that.
And I will catch you if you fall.
You know what? About that segment, though, I know we're not going to talk about the main roster because the newest SmackDown from last Friday and this Monday Night Raw, there's really nothing that I want to talk about. I don't know about you.
Yeah, a little bit, a couple pair of butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Not great.
Definitely butt cheeks. But going back to the Valentine's Day episode, I have a feeling Sonya Deville might be involved here. It seems a little fishy with the Dolph Ziggler thing. Maybe Sonya was getting a little jealous.
Ooh.
The
thing, I would have hoped that Otis would have stood up for himself a little bit more and been confrontational, but, a broken heart will do that to you.
Yeah, and I just had a text message from Aaron, former special guest former live video OTSN glue guy, and he was asking, hey, have you guys started recording yet? I think Aaron was trying to sneak on another episode here. Tom.
Oh.
Is he trying to be like the unofficial third member? I feel like this guy has a lot of opinions.
Shifty, in and out. He wants to be that volunteer assistant coach that can come and go as he pleases,
You know about that?
Yeah. It's a thing.
Yeah. You got experience in coaching. How long you been coaching, by the way?
This is it's my 4th year as a varsity coach, 6th year as a high school coach, 8th year coaching as a head coach in some capacity. I did travel ball for a couple of years, so 8 years now as a head coach. Yeah,
8 years in baseball. Speaking of baseball, we get some coverage on Overtime Sports Network. Not right now, not much baseball coverage going on, but speaking of OTSN, we are proudly a part of the Overtime Sports Network. Tuck, where can they find them on the interwebs?
Oh, it's pretty easy. If you go to otsportsnetwork.com, that's where you'll find our headquarters, our home site. You'll find a bunch of blogs there, links to all the different podcasts covering many different corners of the sports world. On Twitter, you can go to @_OTSN and follow us. And if you're interested in creating content, we've always got room on the boat, or the bus, if you will.
Yeah.
Content creators, podcasts.
Yeah, sports podcast. I don't think we need another wrestling one.
Yeah.
Because we got us and AEW iPod cranking out mainly weekly episodes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you know anybody with a sports podcast, maybe you listen to one or you're a part of one yourself, shoot us a DM. We're looking to expand our horizons.
Yeah, that's where it really goes down in the DMs.
There's a song about that, Tuck.
Yep, Xander Bogaerts' former walk-up song.
Oh, you would bring up Xander Bogaerts here.
Of all the Red Sox.
Yeah, of all the Red Sox. You know who's not a Red Sox? Mookie Betts.
And David Price.
I'm
David
sure the
Price,
Mookie one stings a little more.
The cover guy for February on my Red Sox calendar, so that one stung.
Awkward, huh?
Yeah. And then I'm getting bullied by 6th and 7th graders, like, he's not on the team anymore.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, your parents don't love you.
Oh, the teacher strikes back.
Yeah, got him. But OTSportsNetwork.com @_OTSN. If you're going to be over on Twitter, follow myself @JimTuck89 and make sure you follow Kyle @TooSweetKyle. Too sweet.
That is right.
Life is good.
You can follow me Too Sweet Kyle on TikTok too, because that's a thing.
Help.
Got 14K over there.
Come on.
Got to get off of it. Come on now. But like I said earlier, we really don't want to talk main roster. So the way this show is going to go, NXT Takeover, we're going to talk about that because it was a phenomenal one. Then we'll go into NXT from this week, February 19th, and AEW Dynamite will close out this week's episode.
Oh, yeah.
First matchup on the NXT Takeover was a thriller. The North American Championship was on the line between Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic. Keith Lee would end up retaining in a phenomenal, hard-hitting match. A lot of no-selling going on here, but it served its purpose for sure because you got two behemoths going at it. Tucky, I was watching that. I was on the edge of my seat. I'm thinking, how the hell does one follow that opener?
I know they followed. They start. I thought they might have went with the Dakota Kai match first, but
non-title.
But put the pedal to the metal. Let's go. It was a great start. I never fully bought into the idea of Dijakovic winning, but
I don't think really anyone did.
Right.
From what I was hearing, but
it was good.
A lot of near falls. I mean, to see big men, and I know we've said this before because they've had matches before, but these guys are 300-pounders. They're doing Hurricane Ranas, spots from the top of the rope. I mean, is there a better opener than that? Can you have a better opening match?
No. Tell me one. Find one.
I can't.
It's tough.
So, obviously, starting things off hot, and I'm Keith Lee retaining. Makes sense. Cool. Thought we would move on from, the Dijakovic stuff, but we'll get there in a little bit. After that, the street fight between Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox happened. And once again, another action-packed match with many cool spots. Of course, they're going to have the toys involved. It was intense. But the storytelling, Tuck. Here we go with the storytelling. I thought it was particularly great here because Tegan Nox, who's supposed to be your babyface, you could tell there were times in this matchup where she would kind of hesitate to do some very vile things. And I think that's a good side to show from your babyface in a street fight against somebody you used to call your best friend.
Yeah, it was aggressive. We've seen that it's going to escalate now into a steel cage match. Props to these two ladies for enduring a pretty physical style of play. Especially, I always get spooked with the knees too,
They definitely played to that.
Even back at Takeover Survivor Series weekend, like the spot was her getting her previously injured knee
The
smashed
War Games
in
turn
the door.
you're talking
Yeah,
about?
the War Games. Yeah, like, and I get the same way with Tommaso Ciampa on his neck, and those previous injuries, and you're like, it just cringy. Yeah,
And these stories go deep, and that's the thing about NXT is that there's long history between these two women, and just like there's long history between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and you don't get that on the main roster all the time, and that's what I love about NXT. And like I was saying earlier, how do you follow that? I thought they followed that match fantastic. Like you go from having an A+ opener to an A match, I would say. I don't know about you.
It was very solid. If you're nitpicking and finding things to complain about.
What do you think about the ending? Because that's where some people are complaining about.
That would be my sticking point as well. I just don't know. I wasn't familiar with her coming in.
Raquel
Raquel Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
Not too familiar with her.
She was in the Mae Young Classic. I don't know if she had more than one match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to finish, but steel cage.
It keeps the story going.
Yeah.
And could you have had Dakota win that by herself and then have another match?
Right.
You had to have that outside interference. So I guess if they see something in Gonzalez, maybe. I was hoping maybe if you're going to do kind of that spot, Mercedes Martinez.
Right. I thought it was a courageous debut on a huge
Big show.
Like, props to the Pacific Northwest. Their fans get after it. Like, all the shows were active out there.
It was the only show this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, usually these takeovers are followed by pay-per-views. The spotlight was on Takeover Portland, and to have Raquel Gonzalez debut there, I guess that says something. I mean, obviously Triple H is seeing something, but do you think that's a good dynamic to put with a heel Dakota Kai?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I need a little bit more to develop before I make a firm decision. What about you?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, and once again, going back to your point, you got to kind of wait and see. But I love the pairing of this like monster, taller person with this smaller. And it like worked with Diesel and Shawn Michaels, and I'm not comparing them to that whatsoever. But
Right.
You have the big and you have the little. They're heels. They do bad things. And now we have the steel cage match, which was intended to keep Raquel Gonzalez out of the cage. So we'll see what happens there. Who do you got in that matchup? Let's go with a bold prediction here. 2 weeks out, Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, steel cage.
Tegan Nox.
Agreed.
And I just think that she has more to gain from it. So I think they're going to put her over and
unless Gonzalez gets somehow into the cage, maybe is the only way.
Yeah.
I think Tegan straight up would beat Dakota.
Yeah.
It'll be a good one though.
It will.
It would be a good one, just like Johnny Gargano versus Finn Balor. And this started like your classic wrestling match. You got your lockups, you got your holds, you're building to every single move coming up, and then boom, right after that, the pace just keeps going.
Yeah. And for me, I thought it was kind of the perfect length. They could have put another 10, 8, 5, 7 minutes on it.
Good point.
And you still would have been satisfied. But I thought once it got to that pace, the pedal was down and it ended. I thought the tempo was good. I thought it was a good match, top to bottom.
Yeah, I going into this too, I said it on my Takeover predictions video, I thought this would be the match of the night. It's up there with, for me personally, Keith Lee, Dijakovic, and the main event. Like, there's just so many good matches that happen at TakeOver. Mm-hmm. But, like, you had plenty of counters. You had your high spots, and they told that story brilliantly. And we are finally starting to see the Finn Balor that everybody wanted.
Yeah, here he is. You know, we've been kind of dragging our feet with it, trying to figure out what they were going to do with him. And now it's pretty clear, so I'm excited to see how it goes.
What's next for Finn, though? Because obviously Johnny is on the Ciampa.
Mm-hmm. And then Velveteen's stuck.
I think Velveteen's going after Adam Cole.
Yeah, that whole UE kind of thing. I think that's natural.
I got one for you. Think of people that were just signed.
Killer Cross?
Yes.
Ooh. Some people are hoping that he goes right to the main roster.
See, I don't know enough about him to make an opinion.
Right, exactly.
On like where he should go. But I feel like if you pair him with Scarlett, who's his wife in real life, it would work better in NXT.
Yeah.
And I think Scarlett needs a way to debut, and why not with Killer Cross?
And I feel like, there was probably that conversation where like, I'm gonna come to WWE and sign. I got to be with my lady.
Yeah.
A little bit,
Because it worked before.
Right.
Why not do it again? But I guess we'll see what they do with that. But if I were to say, I mean, next week, apparently Finn's supposed to be on NXT, so we'll get more of a better direction on where he's headed going into WrestleMania weekend for sure. But he needs something. Yeah, and Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle are both locked up. Who do they face? The grizzled young veterans?
Ugh.
Come on now. We're going to have to do something there. We'll get to that later, too. But, good match between Johnny and Finn. After that, we get Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Now, don't get me wrong. This match was good. But on a card with so many great to awesome matches, this one kind of lagged for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I agree. And in hindsight, I think this should have been when Charlotte was first put in front of Rhea Ripley. I kind of wish she would have delayed, and let Rhea and Bianca kind of build that tension. Rhea wins. Here comes Charlotte out of nowhere. You're on. That kind of thing. I think
you'd get a better reaction.
I thought the pop would have been huge. Now, again, I don't think it needs it. I'm excited for that match at WrestleMania. But like you said, when I think of that takeover, that the match between Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair just kind of, it's just towards the bottom. It's not a bad match.
Not at all.
It wasn't a terrible match, but with all the fireworks coming from every spot in the card.
Literally every match.
It was good.
So let me ask you this. Who's the bigger star, Rhea Ripley or Bianca Belair?
Well, I think Bianca Belair is right now, but I think WWE wants Rhea Ripley to be. It's like one of those things where like she's going to continue to get that consistent push, and I think Bianca Belair stands to benefit from being just that next one up. Like give her her shot.
She's getting noticed.
Yeah.
She's around the title.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Charlotte, like you said, though, afterwards, would attack. And I thought it was interesting, too, after she went after Rhea, she also hit Bianca on her way out.
Yeah.
Is that hint? Because we saw what Bianca would say on Wednesday. We'll save that for later in the show.
Yeah.
We'll save that for sure. But after that, the Broserweights would defeat the Undisputed Era. Their reign would finally end here. A prediction I actually surprisingly got right.
There you go.
What were you thinking going in? Did you think the Broserweights were going to win or no?
I did. Oh, I don't know. I didn't think they were going to win. I wanted them to win. But
let me ask you this then. Why did you want them to win?
Because I want something new.
Is it it wasn't just the dynamic between the two that they're
the whole story, like the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure style thing. Pete Dunne's deserves a trophy for being able to hold character in front of that dude. Like it's just. I mean,
how much fish
awesome.
could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish?
Yeah, and props to him for getting that right like every time.
Because we know Matt likes to, get into the
must have had a great time in Portland.
Oh, yeah, you had to. Everybody has a good time in
yeah.
Portland. But another fantastic match. I know I've said it before, and we'll say it again. The Broserweights, it's working. And I think this was the right time to strike with them because no disrespect to the Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, they're one of the best tag teams in the world. You needed something new.
Yeah.
And you said it. It was time for a change. We get that with the Dusty Cup winners. Broserweights are new tag team champions. Is this something you expect to last a long time, or are we probably going to get a short reign with the Broserweights?
No, I think there's going to be some substance to it. I don't know that there's going to be a faction-type reign where they hold it for a long time, but I do think they're in a good holding pattern with these two. They've got gold on both of them. It can kind of keep them busy as some of the other spin cycles are going with the other belts and stuff. Because
Matt Riddle's first championship.
Yeah, you want those guys with some type of gold.
Because he's over right now, Matt Riddle.
And there's going to be a spot where, it makes that perfect pairing for a turn between the two because the personalities are so opposite. So
it'll probably be when you least expect it to because that's what NXT does.
Yep.
It might be in a title match.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Dunne might just snap after a while and just say, fuck it. This is not what I'm about. That's not the Bruiserweight mentality. So we'll see where that goes. Pretty cool moment there. Broserweight's new champions. After that, the main event, Tommaso Ciampa versus Adam Cole. What did you think about this main event?
Tommaso Ciampa looked like a savage.
Yeah.
He looked great.
Yeah.
Myself, a number of times, up and down. Oh, come on. No, just it was a great storytelling type match. I was up and down, back and forth. Mista was having trouble figuring out what the heck I was doing because
it's like, why is this guy?
I was riding the wave.
Yeah.
Like, it was
one of those matches you get lost in,
and
that's a good thing in professional wrestling.
And there's that moment at the end with the turn where it's like Ciampa winning would have been great. Cole winning clear would have been whatever. But that turn it's going to be one of those iconic moments where, you remember NXT Portland when Gargano turned on Ciampa, and here we are.
It's just like when Ciampa turned on Gargano in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
He did it a couple of years ago, and then they never actually got to finish this feud. I saw some people mad about this. They were like, why are we doing this feud again? First off, why not? The matches are going to be great.
Yeah.
The story makes sense because Tommaso took that moment away from Johnny Gargano before. They never got to have that WrestleMania weekend match for the NXT Championship, and now Johnny's get to play the bad role. I don't see why not. And the funny thing was when he came out there and he was ringside, I was like, Aaron, watch him turn. I just knew right when I saw him.
I had that tender moment of like, oh, look at the shirt. He's wearing the DIY shirt. Oh.
Well, because
that's cute.
The Undisputed Era was getting involved, like the other guys. Mm-hmm. So you thought, oh, Johnny's just there to even the odds.
Yeah. Because the numbers weren't going to add up over time if, that was his spot to win it. And then, Johnny's there to help. Oh, shit. Okay.
So we'll definitely get that WrestleMania weekend, which will be great.
Great.
Don't know who you have win there because I feel like if Ciampa loses, he's lost a lot.
Yeah, he's a really good loser. Yeah.
And Johnny's one of those guys where he could lose here and there. I don't think it really affects Johnny Gargano because everybody knows he's just the face of NXT virtually.
Mm-hmm.
He's always going to be there. He's always going to be on TakeOver. And he's always going to have a good match. But speaking of good matches, we had a lot of those at TakeOver. What was your favorite? I know this is a hard question.
Mine was the main event just because of the roller coaster of emotions it put me on. But you could, I would probably leave Bianca Belair.
Can you give me a ranking? Do you think you can go top to bottom on the 6?
Yeah, so I would go Tommaso Ciampa. That would be my Ciampa Cole. That would be my number 1. I'm actually going to put the tag match number 2. I loved it. I thought it was good tag team wrestling. I'd go Keith Lee 4.
That'd be 3.
3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the other 3 were
Street Fight, women's match, and why am I blanking on the other one?
Yeah.
There were 6 matches.
Oh, Finn Balor.
Oh, Finn and John.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Finn 4. The Finn match 4.
This is tough.
The Street Fight 5, only because of the finish. I think if there was but then again, so.
Yeah, it made sense.
And then Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair 6.
Our 5 and 6 are the same. Mm-hmm. I think that's a lock, and I thought those were still good. I really love the Street Fight for sure.
Bro, if that Bianca Belair Charlotte Flair match is your 6th best match of the night, like, how good was the card?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was one of the best, if not the best, TakeOver. Me, I'd put Keith Lee number 1. I really love that match between him and Dijakovic. I mean, they always have a fantastic one. Number 2 for me, I'm going to put Finn and Johnny there. I know the story was the best in the main event. Actually, no, fuck. The main event's 2. The main event's 2. I keep thinking back to that. It was such a good main event.
Yeah.
1A, Keith Lee, Dijakovic. 1B, the main event between Ciampa and Cole.
Cop Out.
1C, Finn and Johnny. Then the tag match. Then it's the street fight.
So
I'm copping out.
You had 1, 2, 3, 4.
I had 3 great matches.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I just can't pick one. I'm sorry. It was probably my favorite TakeOver to date. Would you say the same?
It was mine. I don't have as many as you have, but
true.
That one was awesome. War Games, sick. But War Games is known for the War Games
brutality.
That those 2, the other matches were fine, but top to bottom, similar to Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park's album. Just full of the hits.
Yeah, I was trying to think of another album. Rolling Papers by Wiz Khalifa.
Come on. Just hit shuffle.
Yeah.
And you're good.
I did that the last weekend, I think.
I did that.
I was like just chilling. I was just like, I'm playing this whole album. I'm just going to let it ride.
Yeah.
But NXT TakeOver, fantastic. Almost perfect. It was perfect. Like, can you do better than that?
No, the one spot was the debut of Raquel Gonzalez for me.
But it makes sense.
But again, they had the courage to do it, and now you need to figure out who she is. So cool.
Thought we would get a little bit more of that on NXT. You know, some storyline progression with Raquel, but we only got a backstage interview with that announcing the steel cage. Let's go into NXT itself from February 19th, 2020. Started off, the Undisputed Era would briefly talk, about Roderick Strong's matchup with The Dream. That literally was like a 5-minute promo. The Dream's new logo showed up on the Tron. Just talking crap about the family and everything. Do you think what Dream's doing is kind of heelish?
I do, which is kind of weird. You're in this kind of weird situation because the Undisputed Era is supposed to be the heels. Because
supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
But, and it's one of those things where, everyone says Adam Cole, baby. Everyone does the boom. Everyone's like,
If you tuned in for the very first time to NXT and wrestling, you would think Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era babyface. Velveteen Dream Team. It's weird.
And it's this weird spot because I think everyone does like Velveteen, but he's doing the more heelish thing, going after a man's wife and child.
It's still funny. Him and his pants.
I love it.
Marina's on there. I forgot the son's name. One of these days, I'm just going to walk in to recording with your pants on, and it's going to have Mista's face and the 3 dogs on it. How would you react to that?
Oh, you bastard, you.
We'd have to set up a cage match, brother.
Right here. A window match. First one out the kitchen window. Is dead.
You might die. No, we would have to have it at the old garage where CPW was.
Yeah.
There's always been speculation and rumors that there might be one more show.
Wow.
We would have to get you involved in a
ECW
ref capacity.
One night stand kind of thing.
Would you want a ref capacity
I'm
or
in. I
commentating?
could be color, yeah.
All right. One of these days, we are going to make this happen. I'm telling you. You're going to see grown men backyard wrestling in a garage. It's going to happen, people. But let's get back to NXT. The first match was the Cruiserweight Championship match between the champion, Jordan Devlin, and Lio Rush. I thought the match was good. It was very good, actually. But these commercial breaks, and it seems to be a problem recently with NXT, at the beginning of the show, kind of just ruined my emotional investment because once you go to commercial, I'm like, all right, I'm going to check my phone. I'm going to do other things. I'm going to flip the channel.
And it extends into the show coming back, too, because you're finishing whatever you're finishing. The tweet, the scroll, the mindless game, the email, whatever.
The Snapchat.
Yeah. And even when it goes to picture-in-picture, I feel unimportant, and
right.
Whatever happens here
Pizza Hut's going on the side.
I think AEW actually does a better job at picture-in-picture because
usually nothing's happening.
There's more moments that, it's just different. Like an entrance or something's happening, at least you're going to peek in, but
or Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin are showing cue cards.
Yeah.
Like funny stuff.
Right. Just catch it. Not going to go viral, but
That's a good point.
Something to at least okay, all right.
So yeah, that's why I was kind of like, yeah, this match was good. It might have even been the best. Actually, yes, it was the best match on NXT, but I don't know. What did you think of the match itself?
It wasn't bad, and without your analysis, I don't understand why I felt so detached from it as well. But
it had to be that.
It made sense, yeah.
And Devlin retains, but I can't sit here and tell you one thing that happened in that match. That's a problem. They had good wrestling, but why do I care about that match?
Yeah, and that followed a slightly uninspired promo, like a detached,
It wasn't bad, but it's just okay.
I think, you're used to NXT putting the pedal down and getting and moving the needle some way, and I just don't.
Like I said, though, match was good, but hey, Devlin retains. Where do we go from there? Who knows? I really don't know what they're doing with the cruiserweights right now. It's kind of a flustered division for sure. But after that, Tommaso Ciampa would take out all of his frustrations from TakeOver out on Austin Theory. Austin Theory was supposed to have a match, but Ciampa would come out there, ruin it, kind of just throwing him into the guardrails continuously, showing how pissed off he was, which that's probably smart. It's good, but I was okay with the segment. Okay, another one of those where, yeah, I get it. Ciampa's mad.
Yep. Some of us are mad for you, too. Tommaso?
I can't put it into words. It's not frustrating, but I'm like, we can do something else. What can we do?
We sound spoiled.
And we are.
You know what I mean?
It's
like
too good.
Right. And that's okay.
And NXT never is like this. Like this is, you could definitely tell we're on the come down from one of the greatest shows they've ever put on.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just trying to put the pieces back together, and that's what they did here. Ciampa's mad because of Gargano turning on him. So this sets up a match between Ciampa and Austin Theory, which that should be a good one.
On paper, yeah, you would think that would be one to tune in for.
We'll tune in.
Yeah.
Will we tune in live?
Oh, you know.
I don't know. Next week will be the Dynamite before Revolution, which we will be in attendance for.
It's here.
We're 10 days away.
I can't wait.
9. Wait, yeah, we're 9 days away.
That show's gonna be a banger.
What are you wearing? You got what kind of merch? You got?
I don't know. My next pro wrestling crate's gonna be here before then too, so I'm gonna have even more options.
I wish I had a Hangman shirt.
Hangman.
I have my AEW
cowboy
hoodie,
stuff.
My AEW hoodie might seem be the play there right there.
Yeah, I've got Jurassic Express.
We're gonna have to plan that out because we're gonna go to some Chicago bars before that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a day.
We're gonna hit the town.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. After that, the grizzled young veterans are showing up once again on regular NXT TV to face off against Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. NXT still showing a lot of those UK guys. Worlds Collide ended a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Yep.
You think there's a reason behind this?
I don't have one.
I think they really don't have full confidence in their tag division.
Well, they do need help. I mean,
other than the Undisputed Era, the Broserweights, what are we working with?
You do have the grizzled young vets, but are they?
But
UK?
they're UK.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Born and bred.
Yikes.
So maybe this is their slow transition over to the NXT in the USA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but what this was a showcase match. Hey, these guys are good. This is the reason they were in the finals. That's about it. I mean, any other thoughts for you in this one?
Nope.
And the trend of NXT continues.
And I think it was a little bit later. I'm referring to the text that you sent me.
Yes, in the middle of this show.
Yeah, Kyle sent me a text. He goes, "Are you watching NXT?" And I'm like, "Yes, but I'm 15 minutes late. Like I'm 15 minutes behind. Stop it."
Don't spoil.
Right. I was just trying to warn him. Like, don't tell me the goods. And he didn't.
There wasn't any good there. I would have been like, "Oh my god, the Forgotten Sons! They're on this. They're on the NXT."
Yeah, Cameron Grimes is out there.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, come on, NXT. Here we are. We go to the Broserweights, the new champions coming out. They're funny, you know. They cut their promo and whatnot. Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan would have a match with them. Broserweights still fun. Put on a good match. Are entertaining, but the crowd, and this was an all night thing. Crowd just didn't seem interested.
Yeah, after the boom, after the Adam Cole baby and the boom, and you know they're always going to be up for that. But then other than that, it's like pretty dank.
You know what? The one thing that separates AEW from NXT? Crowds.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving from city to city.
Yeah,
there's excitement there. These Full Sail people see the same show. Well, not like the same, but they see a show every week.
Mm-hmm.
Same people in attendance. Are they going to pop as loud as people that haven't seen Darby Allin before, haven't seen Jon Moxley in AEW?
Well, right. And, you know, like I paid money to show up to this venue because AEW is not going to be here for a while and we've got to go. And, you know, the moments, you almost stretch and search for more impactful moments when you're at the show just so it can be that show that you remember a little more fondly. I think of War Games. Like,
you don't think of the
bonkers.
Dynamite that we
right.
went to.
No. I do think of the ladder match at All Out. Like, I was there.
You were.
It was awesome. It was great, you know. So if you're at Full Sail and you're going to and you're getting that steady serving every week, you know, it takes a lot. Again, with this card too, it takes a lot for you to feel a little bit more.
But even what happened on NXT this week, if you have a good crowd, it can make the show a little better.
Oh yeah,
good crowds make shows more entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just sitting there you're just not reacting to everything that happens, it's going to kill the mood. And that's what I felt like, especially here in this tag team matchup, because it wasn't bad, but I think it's time for NXT to take the show on the road.
Yeah, and, you know, once every 3 weeks, once every 2 weeks, go hit a spot, you know. They know how to travel. This is not something new.
They will sell.
Yes.
If they came to Chicago for a regular NXT, I would buy a ticket right away.
Yeah.
Without hesitation. NXT's still good. Like, this is still the best brand in WWE.
And they don't have to go try to fill a 13,000 seater.
No.
Like
do what AEW's doing.
Bro, you could bring NXT to the Hammond Civic Center that seats 4,000.
Still better than Full Sail.
Pack the hell out of it. And you're gonna find 4,000 people that just want to go for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and you can even have an hour after you do the live show of just dark matches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people would stay for that, and you would make probably more money because you're selling more seats. So,
yeah,
to me, it seems like a no-brainer. It's time for NXT to move, but the NXT tag team division seems to be in a bit of a rebuild, because you got new champions. We got to show these new people, like the grizzled young veterans, and Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. And after that, you got the Forgotten Sons, and about it.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's get your expert analysis here. Keith Lee, North American champion, versus Kona Reeves.
Man, I tell you what, Kona Reeves came out, and then this match happened.
Yep, that was the match. It literally happened as long as Tuck just talked. After that, Dijakovic would show up once again, virtually saying that this isn't over. My back gave out, which it did in that match. That was a thing that they told. And he's basically saying, hey, I deserve another shot. Does Dominik Dijakovic deserve another chance?
Yep.
Really?
I don't care.
I mean, because we know it'll be a good match.
Right. Yeah, that's one of those things where it's kind of a safe pick. Who's the next challenger?
Priest.
Oh, okay.
Damian Priest, Killian Dane. You have options.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
Cameron Grimes. I mean, he's not there yet, but he could get there. Damian Priest.
Cool.
Why not?
Sure.
The match would be killer.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Priest has had some good matches, so why not?
Yeah, he's being slept on, yeah.
He is. And Keith Lee could...
Swerve?
Yeah, there's another name. Like, there's names.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if Dominic's going to get another one. Maybe he'll just get it on a regular NXT.
Yeah.
And then
that'd be a good spot for it.
Yeah, then maybe Keith beats him again and Dominic just snaps afterwards. And that's just a way to turn Dominic back to being a heel. Cause
joins the Undisputed Era? No.
I don't know. now we're fantasy booking right here. After that, Chelsea Green would get her revenge against Kaden Carter after Kaden won in a previous week. But Bianca Belair would randomly show up towards the end of this one, calling out Charlotte Flair, saying she'll beat her ass. That was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah. Reminiscent of like a 24/7 title, like interchange. Like she popped up. I'm gonna let y'all finish.
Yeah.
Said her piece, left, and then the match continued. Like, do it after the match.
Didn't NXT just seem like they were trying to do too much this week?
Yeah. Spun the wheel a few times back in production and was like, oh, all right, Bianca's gonna run in here. All right, Kona Reeves versus Keith Lee. There you go. And like
we got to get this guy on the show. We got to get this girl on the show. But how are we going to do it? Oh yeah, Bianca's going to show up in the middle of Chelsea Green and Kaden Carter.
Yeah.
What? I mean, maybe Bianca is going to have a match with Charlotte on NXT. That'd be cool. Or maybe Bianca finds her way on that WrestleMania match. I'd like that.
You would?
I would. I think it'd be the best possible match. And that's a way, too, where you can put Bianca in that match. Rhea doesn't get pinned, and Bianca pins Charlotte Flair to win the belt. And then you can just go off and feud with Rhea and Bianca again.
Yeah. Yeah, you could.
So that's why I would like it. I think Bianca's star is shining a little more than Rhea Ripley's. So selfishly, I kind of just want her in that match. But, that's where I'm at there. Chelsea Green gets a revenge win with the help of Robert Strauss. And that's about it in that one. The main event, Velveteen Dream versus Roderick Strong. Anything about this one you want to chat about?
Not in particular, aside from what we have on the note sheet. Your point about Roderick hitting his finisher, followed, pretty, where was it? Yeah.
So, let's set the table here. Velveteen Dream's first match back against Roderick Strong, guy he has history with. They've had matches before. He took his North American Championship. So, that was smart. Put him in a match where he's comfortable in.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I had to complain about here, because it was a good main event, is that, like you said, Roderick Strong hits his finisher, Velveteen Dream kicks out. Right away, literally right away, Velveteen Dream goes on and hits his finisher for the win. Where's the selling there?
Pretty unimportant finisher from Roderick Strong. Who is that going to impact,
I don't get it. It was something that really bothered me a little bit because it was a good main event, but the Undisputed Era's losing streak continues other than Adam Cole.
Yep.
And here we are, Roderick Strong getting another loss. Velveteen Dream next in line for the NXT Championship.
Who else? Finn?
Finn would be the only one, I think.
Yeah.
And Undisputed Era would indeed beat down Velveteen Dream after that matchup, which kind of points to the factor. I think that's where we're headed.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, NXT, in NXT terms, because this is kind of like a normal Raw or SmackDown, was a stinker for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, not great. Kind of a letdown, you know.
Especially after Sunday.
Yeah. Yep.
Where every single match was great. Nothing was
Awesome.
bad.
NXT is king. Way to go. Love it. 6 for 6. Bangers only. Yep.
Let's get into the excitement here because I'm feeling really good about this show right now.
Yeah.
AEW Dynamite. What'd they start off the show with this time, Tucky?
A ring filled with men. So many bodies. Tight space. A battle royal. Tag team battle royal. Number 1 contendership. Let's go.
10 teams were in that matchup. It's what you expect from battle royals because there's a lot of bodies in there. But what I liked specifically about this one, I think this is what AEW has been doing very well, is we are setting up and building and continuing feuds while in the battle royal.
Mm-hmm.
The Dark Order, they were outside recruiting. Why not?
Love it. Yeah.
Like, I don't know the Oriental man's name, but they're trying to get him. He ran off with the mask.
Yeah.
Like, I'll think about this.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I'll see you.
They also bring up the fact that where's Christopher Daniels?
Right.
He just chilling in the
SCU
lair.
got bounced like pretty early.
So you're continuing Dark Order SCU. You know, Luchasaurus has his spots. I thought it was fun. Matt Jackson looked good.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing about that was with Nick out, you're like, oh, man, well, it doesn't make sense for the Young Bucks to win. He doesn't have the numbers. And then it makes the Young Bucks looking strong coming out of it.
Because we were at a point where there was 5 people left in there. I believe it was the Butcher, Santana Ortiz, Matt Jackson, and Trent Beretta. And in that case, you're thinking, well, there's one full team left. It's Santana and Ortiz. Is that who we're going to get at Dynamite?
Right.
No, Matt Jackson was able to shine. He was able to eliminate them. What were your thoughts on the Young Bucks getting the win here, and now they will be headed to Revolution?
Yeah, I think it's about time because they did a good job early on, taking some losses, putting some other teams over. I think the tag team division has its footing. As a fan, you've had long enough to. We're at this is like week 18 where they're both squaring off against each other. So you have your.
Actually, I think it's like week 20.
Squaring off against each other, though?
Oh, yeah, good call. Yeah.
So you have those, now 18 to 20 shows in, you're able to start sending your fandom in certain corners, and now the Young Bucks, it's time for them to make a push.
Yeah, I like how they didn't shove them down our throats like you were saying. So them getting the win here with who the team we will talk about later that, retain their championships. You obviously know who we're talking about. If you watch AEW, it makes sense, too, from a storyline standpoint for sure. But after that pretty good battle royal, we would get Shanna versus Chris Statlander. And in my opinion, I think this was one of the better women's matches that we've seen in AEW to date.
Yeah, pretty even athleticism wise, so it allowed each of them to show it off a little bit. When you get a Rio versus Nyla Rose type match, the contrast in styles is so it was good to just see a good. I didn't hate it.
No, and we don't personally know much about either of these women, but Chris Statlander is a name that has been showing up a lot on Dynamite. And it's a name that I'm keeping an eye out on because I think she's becoming a pivotal piece in their women's division. She gets the win here over Shanna.
Yeah, she's one that they have high stock in.
You like the boop thing? The boop right on the nose?
No.
You're out?
I do have a little bit of trouble taking her seriously with
She's an alien.
But is she though? I mean,
JR was getting pissed, too, when they started telling the backstory. I think it was Excalibur. He was telling how she, crashed on Area 51. And he's like, all right, get on with the damn match. JR wasn't buying it either. But, no,
right.
it was a good match for sure. After that, the new AEW Women's Champion, Nyla Rose. First off, before we get into this interview, what'd you think about her beating Rio last week?
I wasn't really that upset about it because I didn't think Rhea was doing much with the title. So, at least, regardless of your opinion of Nyla Rose,
which a lot of people have them.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's see how it goes.
I thought that was a good match too. I thought Nyla and Rio had probably the best match that they've had in their AEW run so far. So, yeah, Nyla Rose, new champion. It was your standard heel promo, calling the fans B, saying she's the queen bee, blah blah blah. You get Statlander, you get Big Swole coming out afterwards. Maybe there's a future triple threat here, or maybe just Statlander and Swole think they're next in line.
Yeah, I think it pairs up Statlander and Swole to give it a run. I don't know
what about Britt?
Yeah, that's the thing.
She's rolling. She was on commentary again this week,
and I'm glad that they jabbed at her because she's like, I'm the best in the division, and then they're like, well, why are you number 5? And so. It does give her something to work towards. Is Big Swole ahead of her? Ranked ahead of her?
I don't think so. What has Big Swole done recently?
I was about to say, she can't be.
I can't think off the top of my head Big Swole getting like a big win. Like, if I'm thinking of somebody that's going to step up to Nyla Rose right now, I'm thinking Chris Statlander, Sheeta, and Britt Baker.
Emi Sakura,
No, definitely not Emi Sakura. I don't want to see that anymore. Jesus Christ. But no, it wasn't a bad promo, that's for sure. And Nyla Rose, new champion, so that's pretty cool. After that, Jon Moxley would face off against Jeff Cobb, the newly signed man from Ring of Honor. Have you seen any of his stuff before?
I had no idea who it was. I Googled him briefly. Suplex guy. They said that about 50 times, so we know he was good at suplexes.
He literally had suplex on his tights.
Strong, athletic, greased up, my kind of guy. And I thought he looked good.
He did. He looked really good. And I also have never seen any of his work. We had the Inner Circle ringside, of course, because Cobb was kind of like their henchman doing the dirty work for him, trying to, mess up Moxley before the matchup next Saturday. But like you said, very, very good showing from Cobb here. I think this is a guy that I could potentially be a fan of.
Yeah.
Once again, also want to say I love the fans singing Jericho's theme song.
It continued. I think the music was off, and they just kept going. Yeah,
it's such a good song.
Yeah,
I snapped you today.
Yeah, you were feeling it.
You can't tell me you don't like that song.
I do.
Okay,
I just don't know all the words.
You don't?
I become.
I've listened to it so many times recently, so I definitely know the words for sure. But this match itself, like you said, is very good. Moxley would end up sneaking a win by rolling up Cobb after a top rope suplex. And like I said, like you said, I should say, Cobb, very good debut. It was one of those debuts where he didn't really need a win.
No. I just see him. Get him out there. Let him mix it up a little bit. Okay.
Against the top guy.
And he looked good, so he's probably going to be the favorite in his next matchup.
Oh, yeah. They're going to put him on a streak.
Depending on who he goes against. But he is a guy that they can build up strong. Jeff Cobb, Wardlow for the title in 11 months.
They're going to say it like 2030. I was going to say, now we're working this up for sure. But afterwards, the Inner Circle would be down. Jon Moxley, Dustin Rhodes would come out to attempt to save. And then we'd get the return of Darby Allin. Darby Allin getting a huge pop.
Yeah. Yeah, good for him, too, for his career in the trials and tribulations he's been through. But, when you're AEW, putting him out there, he was recognized as someone coming back, They weren't asking, who's this returning?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Who is that?
It's Darby Allin.
We know who that music is. Yeah, for sure. But no, that's great to see Darby back. So you got Darby kind of feuding with Sammy, I think. Dustin feuding with Hager. Everybody seems to have a place now on AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, the chips are starting to fall into place. The thing that I really like about Darby Allin is kids like him.
Yeah.
Kids will do the face paint, and he's dark, but he's not deadly dark.
It's like a dark Rey Mysterio that kids can get behind.
Yeah, he's a smaller guy. He resonates with a number of different people. He's tough. He's dark. He's mysterious. He's got a skateboard. Even though it's 2020, there's that too.
Yeah, so. You don't see skateboards too often nowadays.
No, even though they wiped out our wiffle ball field to put a skate park in 2019.
Yikes. Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I saw a kid skateboarding.
No.
You just don't see it. Definitely not in our area for sure.
On the list of things you don't see in the region, skateboarding.
I'm trying to think of other things at the time. Things you do see in the region are golf carts in neighborhoods.
Oh, yeah. Frequent.
It's a big thing in the Four Seasons,
no
for
doubt.
Sure. After that, though, in AEW, we had the AEW Tag Team Championship match between the Lucha Bros and Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. Like always, both these teams, so fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Such an awesome match. Like, this was a pay-per-view quality match, and we got it on for free on TV.
Yeah, and the thing going into that match was, like, whoever won, it kind of made sense because, like, if the Lucha Bros end up getting the titles, you're like, well, you're going to get Young Bucks, Lucha Bros at Revolution. It's going to be awesome, and it delays that elite-type contest.
Yeah.
It does make sense that Hangman and Omega win after a great match because that is going to – there's so many matches at Revolution that could steal the show.
I wish the Lucha Bros had a spot, though.
Yeah.
Because seeing their innovation in these matches, like Ray Fenix Jr., the things that he does, like walking the ropes and then doing a Hurricane Rana and just the outside the ring spots and he and Pentagon Jr. can do, I'm telling you, they are the best tag team in the world. And eventually they'll get their time, and it makes sense that Hangman and Omega win here. But near fall after near fall, awesome match. I guess I really shouldn't be complaining, you know?
No, put this anywhere on NXT, and NXT improves by about 40%.
This shatters anything that was on NXT.
Not even close.
Like, I was watching, I got to watch that because I usually do the day after, and I was just sitting here, and it was one of those where I don't want to touch my phone. I don't want anybody talking to me during it. I want to give it all of my attention. And that's what happened here. So
yeah,
we'll be getting Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus the Young Bucks. The Elite going at it, Tuck.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. That Revolution card, like I said, is pretty cool.
We'll have to do our predictions next week.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna have to be our preview show.
Gonna beat that ass.
Do I still owe you something or no? Did we figure out something?
Probably.
No, I might have figured out something with Aaron. I think I still owe you a drink.
Well, we're going to Chi-Town. I'll be able to sneak one from you.
God, those are so expensive in Chicago. I'm going to cancel that, actually. The bet doesn't count.
Putting 5% of his paycheck towards a drink.
That's exactly what that is. The main event, though, the thing that we were really building up to here was Cody Rhodes versus Wardlow in a steel cage. First off, thoughts? That steel cage, it's kind of new.
Well, so interesting because I do think WWE has a nice cage. I like the way that it sits right on the edge of the apron. And AEW marketed theirs as a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more deadly because there is that space between the apron and the steel cage. But to me, I felt like from an engineering standpoint, someone just couldn't figure it out because I actually did not prefer it.
See, I did. I liked AEW's cage more.
Really?
It had a cleaner look. I get your point with the gaps and everything, but I think that's what differentiates it from WWE.
Well, something, yeah, no doubt.
It looked taller, too.
It was, like, considerably taller. It took up the whole TV screen.
It was almost like a cell.
Sweet.
Yeah.
No, that was cool. Yeah, I was good with it. I'm not hating. I felt like the corners were bigger on that cage compared to WWE, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was a shorter main event too. I think this one about 8 or 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, going into it, I'm like, I mean, what do you get? 25 minutes in a cage would be rough, but
and I think for Wardlow's first match, that's smart.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to give him like a 20-minute match. That's just asking a lot, especially against one of the, if not the biggest faces in AEW, Cody. And when he got cut, I was just thinking, I was like, does Cody just easily get cut, or is he bleeding? Because he bleeds a lot.
I thought the same exact thing. Like, and it was like he got cut, and then the next time you saw his face, it was the Stone Cold shot from like just draped, like
the blood all over the bleach blonde hair.
Yeah,
that's like a vintage Cody look right now, but. It was off a mild head smash to the cage, too.
And I thought he took worse hit. Like, the punches he gave himself looked more ferocious than the glance he took against that cage to get that done. But
no, yeah, absolutely. And you know what I thought during this one, too, is that Wardlow looked a lot better than I was personally expecting.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be him kind of a grunt, showcasing power, getting out technicaled.
Just that body.
But I was okay with it.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of potential, actually. eventually he'll probably turn on MJF, and we got time for that, obviously, but maybe a babyface run with Wardlow in the future is something to keep an eye out, because they need that big guy.
Yeah.
They really don't have that other than Luchasaurus.
A monster type.
Yeah, and Luchasaurus isn't going to split.
Right.
That ain't happening. He's a part of Jurassic Express.
Yes.
But overall, what were your thoughts on the match itself? The spot with Cody at the end, off the top of the cage.
Wow.
It's one of those things where you look up the history of AEW, it would be Cody jumping off the cage.
Yeah, you can put that on any highlight package and it plays. I think Excalibur might have mentioned that was one of the great, or somebody said it was the greatest moment they've seen in a cage match.
That might be.
I thought it was a little bit of a stretch. I do think that, but it was a strong ending to a nice, tight little match that didn't have to get drawn out or overplayed. There was some extracurricular activity going on the outside that I thought made sense. I enjoyed the camera work when MJF started climbing, and then the chair came out of nowhere. So it seems to me that AEW is being more thoughtful, more intentional on their scenes and how they're gonna project that out to the TV audience.
Things are starting to make sense.
Yeah.
And this was a criticism of us. We were like, okay, where's AEW going with this? We need more stories. And they seem to be the story-driven show on Wednesday nights. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm emotionally invested in every single thing that is going on in AEW. I can't say the same thing for NXT.
Yeah, because NXT has a deeper well of talent, better
pro wrestlers, probably.
Right. But I think it's super top heavy, and if it's not one of those top guys, you can change the channel without super skipping a beat. But there's a lot of different tracks going on in AEW right now. And we have been critical. I mean, they're still down in our scoreboard 10-7 as it stands.
I think that might be changing.
We don't even have to do a countdown today.
No, I was just going to say AEW's this week's winner.
One of the strongest probably sweep of.
I was going to say one of the best shows they put on, if not the best.
I agree with that too, and because of NXT being so lackluster, in a boxing match, this was like a 10-6.
This was like Ronda Rousey in her prime in the UFC going up against any female. She'd just make you tap out in 9 seconds.
Yeah, and that's it.
And that's all we got. This, I never even for once was thinking, oh, NXT is going to, have a better show this week.
And that main event on NXT could have been a banger, like an absolute just slobber knocker. AEW still would have took it because it was just so clean, strong, consistent,
So currently our scoreboard now is NXT 10, AEW 8. Just when we thought NXT was starting to pull away from AEW, AEW making a surge. And the reason it was 10-7 is because last week we didn't record, but we said AEW over NXT last week as well.
Correct.
Because there was, once again, it was the better show. So things are starting to get interesting on Wednesday nights. Things are getting very good with AEW. What are your final thoughts?
Well, I think we're in a good spot. AEW also does a good job of setting you up a week, 2, 3 weeks in advance for some things, and I think NXT is taking that into consideration as well. That they're starting to pitch and throw grenades a little bit further down, so you know where the bombs are going to hit.
Yep.
From the Raw and SmackDown side, they've never had that pressure because they don't have direct competition on those dates, so they're not necessarily trying to gain viewership on a Monday night because they're not opposed to anything. So
right.
I think that does stand for lazy booking at times, but we've got Revolution 10 days away.
We got John Cena coming back next Friday.
Yeah.
That's big. One last thing, main roster. Goldberg will be at SmackDown, not via satellite. How excited are you to see Goldberg?
I'm cool with it. I'm not as excited as Vogus, but
I just don't like Goldberg.
I
think he's always been overrated.
Yeah, I'm kind of just
neutral.
Neutral on him. Yeah.
What would your reaction be if the Fiend lost to Goldberg?
Come on, man.
Aaron goes, I'd stop watching. And I'm like, I'm on the verge where I would probably stop too, because we're going to give Goldberg another title run at whatever age he is. Kill the Fiend.
He's not, yeah.
There's no way.
The Fiend, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got Super Showdown next week.
Oh, okay.
That's Thursday, the day that we're probably going to record.
Ooh, do a watch along or what? I'll call off work. I'm joking. That's not going to happen.
The kids are listening right now. They know why you're off now.
Mr. Tucky?
But no, yeah, there's some stuff coming up. And we're on the road to WrestleMania. Doesn't quite feel like it yet, but we'll get there.
Black Label's running a show on the day of Revolution as well. They're doing a 1 o'clock start, so you could go to
what, in Chicago?
No, in Crown Point.
Is that where they're always at?
That's like their home base. Yeah, it used to be on the Square Sports, and they've fallen in love with the RDS gym. I watched that card. It was cool. But
one of these days, I got to get out to a show. I feel like if they're that close, I have to. Apparently, Jeff Cobb's supposed to be on one of the Black Label Pro shows. 2 hours ago, they tweeted Threat Level Midnight.
That's the one. Damn it, that's the one in Tampa, though.
Oh, is it?
They do
Jeff
a Mania
Cobb
show
versus Jake something.
Jake something's one of their big guys. He's good. I like him.
versus Filthy Tom Lawler.
Tom Lawler's not my favorite, but he's just interesting.
So yeah, they got Jeff Cobb showing up.
Well, every time they managed to get a name, like Alex Shelley was there last time. I look back at that show. PCO's on Impact. Marco Stunt, Ethan Page.
I have the card for the 29th.
Quantum Leap.
We got Eric Stevens versus Josh Alexander. Warhost versus Effie. AJ Gray versus Kylie Ray. Kylie Ray, there's a name we know.
She was there last month too, yeah.
All the other names I've really never heard of, but yeah, that's about it. So one of these days I'll make it out there, and maybe one of these days we'll get somebody on the show. That's all I'm.
It's not that crazy to think.
No, it's not.
But it is a good time to be a wrestling fan. AEW is surging back in our rankings. It was at 9-6, got up to 10-6, and now AEW is surging back to a 10-8 stronghold. Wouldn't be surprised. We'll see.
One more thing.
Listening?
I am now officially an AEW mark.
Okay. All right. Because
I can be both, damn it.
Yeah, you can. You can. Yeah.
Don't limit me.
No, I won't.
Like Keith Lee, I'm limitless.
No limit Liarda over here.
On that note.
No, life is good. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Pot on the Mark. You can follow myself at JimTuck89. You can follow Kyle at Too Sweet Kyle. Too Sweet. Thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the On the Mark Podcast.
Brock Lesnar going for F5 to Cena for the championship. Lesnar with the cover.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information and updates, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Pod on the Mark.